The brain is a learning prediction machine. And I'm not trying to say that all pornography is bad, but there are good data to support the idea that if your brain learns to be aroused by watching other people have sex, it is not necessarily going to carry over to the ability to get aroused when you're one-on-one with somebody else. I'm not saying pornography as a stimulus is bad or good. What I'm saying is in its availability and its extreme forms, it's a very potent stimulus, and very potent stimuli of any kind, extremely palatable food, extreme pornography, extreme experiences like bungee cord jumping, those set a threshold for dopamine release. And Anna will tell you that, and I'm sure she did, that the higher the dopamine peak, the bigger the drop afterwards. And it's not that you drop to baseline, you drop below baseline. When people are pursuing dopamine peaks over and over and over, and they aren't getting them, typically it's because they've been pursuing that activity far too often. The cycling back and forth between dopamine and low dopamine states, dopamine fasting as it were, but maybe just low dopamine states, these are natural rhythms that existed in the nervous system. We have to remember what the dopaminergic system is there for. We know as a generic form of motivation and pursuit, you can imagine the human or the animal that's hungry or thirsty. It needs energy to go pursue the thing. So the idea that you have to eat in order to get energy, that's true, but you need energy in order to get the thing to eat. So our nervous system has energy also, that's dopamine and epinephrine. Yes, we use glucose and glycogen, et cetera, when we're pursuing things, but the idea here is you're pursuing something and then either by smell or by sight, you think you're on the right track. So you go down that track and then, there it is. You get some berries, or you get, let's get prehistoric about this, or you get to kill the prey and eat it, and then it gives you energy to continue this pursuit or to reproduce. I mean, there's a reason why humans and other animals seek out reproduction, is that every species, but certainly humans, have two innate desires built into them. Whether or not they decide to actualize this or not is the desire to protect young and make more of its own species.
You must understand, pornography does not mean sexuality. It's a kind of a sickness that you're developing. Sexuality is not a sickness. It's part of our making. We are here because of that. We are not here for that, we are here because of that. So how do I get rid of it? You must understand this. It's not about pleasure, it's not about joy, it's not about love. It is just a compulsiveness. If you do not understand, compulsiveness is slavery. You don't understand that compulsiveness is slavery? Consciousness is the only liberation we have. So, there is no need to give it up. Just no need to go there, that's all. What is there to give it up? Is it happening here? No, it's happening in my head. Whatever you imprint this with, that's what will happen. This is the nature of your head. You must understand, every technology, every convenience that comes to you, you want to use it for your own destruction. Oh, what is the harm, Sadhguru? This is the harm. Your mothers and your sisters and every other woman who is around you, you are reducing them into objects. But you must conduct your life in a dignified manner. Where is the dignity in this? You think you'll find some pleasure? Disgusting. This is not a moral issue, this is a psychological sickness issue, you understand? It's a mental health issue, it is not morality, you are becoming mentally sick. Just because you see something ugly and say he among friends, don't think you're doing something great. You're doing the dumbest thing that's possible. If you don't get my point, whatever pornography that's happening there, put your mother's face on that lady who's there.
You're the 35-year-old creep at the bachelor party who's still involved with pornography, who still has the mind of a 16-year-old and is getting kind of perverse around the edges because everything he watches is getting a little more brutal, right? You're that kind of scum rat creep? That's your destiny? You want that? Think about it. Think about exactly what sort of hell you'd involve yourself in. You know, you bloody well know where your bad habits are likely to… Some people end up on the street, some people that women end up as hookers. There's addiction, there's pimping, there's what? There's like brutal cynicism. There's lots of hells. You have yours, you can be sure of that, where your temptation would lead you. You wanna think that through and decide if that's where you wanna go. And then when you're tempted, you can think, oh, that's a pathway to hell. Maybe no. right? You need both of those. That's why in the archetypal realm, the moral landscape is anchored with heaven and hell. You need something to run the hell away from, right? Because that avoidance motivation, all that negative emotion, that's really useful.
Okay.
Like anger's part of that too. You want to have that
Motivate
behind you.
you.
Damn right. You want your fear, you want Satan behind you, pushing you forward, not in front of you, barring your way.
But there needs to be something to run to.
Well, that's the other thing, is that gives you incentive pleasure, and that's exactly what drugs do. That's also what pornography does. Like technically, you experience a dopaminergic release in relationship to a goal. And when all the drugs of addiction produce dopaminergic release, all the bad habits, right? You got to replace that. Well, with what? Movement towards a valid goal. Well, what's your goal? What do you want in a relationship? Like if you could have what you wanted, what would it look like? Think about it, vision it, envision it, imagine it, let it reveal itself to you. How would you like to structure your friendships? What would you like to do to put your family in order? How would you aim with regard to your career? How would you educate yourself? How would you take care of yourself mentally and physically, assuming you were, trying to do what was good for you, like you liked yourself, which is a very difficult thing to pull off. How could you serve your community? Flesh it out.